Well, for the first time in a long time, I do not have a warning up here in the top left-hand corner that I am out of copper because we had to do a few things in between episodes. Hello, everybody. This is Frogman. Welcome back to Captain of Industry. We have started the space program. We've done a little bit of goofing around. We've got a space station up and running. We've got it crewed. We've got our 15% global research bonus plus a 0.2 Unity provided for keeping a space station up in the air. And we have the ability now to be able to upgrade it. So in between episodes, let me get over here. In between episodes, I researched orbital research, and in the process managed to run almost completely out of a very specific thing, this green wonderful goo over here that turns into turns into these nice copper bars. We finally got to the point where this patch over here is digging mostly dirt. So, well, mostly dirt, mostly rock, mostly whatever. They're still slowly cleaning things out. I've done a little bit of messing around with the train schedule to try to get a couple of things going, but we do now have a new copper mine over here. I've moved I moved a couple of excavators over here and 4 trucks so that we can kind of keep things moving. The trains are going in between. Well, they're over here for right now. I probably need to get them sorted so that they do the stuff. But what we'll do is we'll dig this mountain out and then we'll bury it back here behind us because, again, there is a bunch of copper that should be right here once we get a decent little seawall built. And yeah, we should be having some fun. Now, I came over here because I didn't want to mess with this patch specifically just yet. I kind of want to wait until we're getting a little bit more desperate for the iron before I start messing with this one, because we're going to probably stop cutting this one off about right on the edge here just so that we don't collect any of that copper. Plus, I don't think there's as much copper in that pile as there is in the other ones. And you never know, maybe by the time we actually need that copper, we might be able to actually go do other things. So by other things, I mean we might be able to drop an asteroid on something and have a little bit of fun with that kind of a little technology. So we're doing okay as far as that's concerned. It finally caught up. I was sitting there running off of the recycling for a little while, which was kind of stupid. It did work, but I had to shut a couple of things off just to keep things going. I've not built another of the rocket assembly plant thingies, whatever you want to call them, the rocket assembly depots, mainly because this is working. Did have to do it's keeping up. Did have to do a little bit of finagling here. For whatever reason, if the space crew is above the space food, it won't deliver food. For whatever reason, it wasn't working in here correctly. I don't know why. We almost lost it because it's like, oh, well, we don't have any food. And then I went down there and flip-flopped these two, and now everybody's happy. So I don't know what the deal is on that. I'm not really worried about it. We'll be okay. I did finally go ahead and update, and double up on the aluminum. So we now have 4 aluminum cells running. So that should be, what is it, a cool 96 aluminum per minute. Actually, I think it's 96. Why are we not running? Just realized that this is sitting here with nothing on the belts. What's going on? I am waiting on product. Why are you waiting on product? Why are you oh, you're waiting on fuel. Oh, see, I did a couple of things here, and I knew I kind of probably screwed a couple of things up, but as always, so that should be good. Everything should be fine. You guys are full on alumina, full on. You should have plenty of space for CO2. Oh, right. I needed to do something silly for this. Why are you not working? Because for whatever reason, that is still turned around. I thought I turned those the right direction way around. I went ahead and connected a... Why is that a 3? I don't know. I had a problem earlier today, and I don't know whether it's just me, but I did have a problem earlier today with for some odd reason, my Alt key decided to want to get stuck down, even though it didn't act like it was stuck down, and it caused a few problems, and I don't really quite understand why. Part of the upgrade that I did, I guess, over here is that I also put in a chemical plant that is going to take all of the CO2 that we have coming out of this area and turning that into graphite rods. Now, theoretically, this one chemical plant should be able to keep at least one of these aluminum cells running every cycle, but we're only making like 96 CO2, something like that, per minute. even if all of this is running. So this is just a good way for us to be able to accumulate all of the pollution that would be coming out of this system and turning it into graphite rods so that it can run one of these. And in doing as well, I did move the, where is it over here? This pipe over here, the CO2 coming off of this system is now running over into this area so that we can at least try to keep up with the graphite rods for here. And I'm going to probably just slowly start plugging in the CO2 around the area into systems like that, just so that we can keep the graphite rods running. So like right here, probably what I need to do is, instead of doing this, I should just go ahead again and let me see, do you have the ability to have a thing put in there? Possibly. So that line goes that way, that goes that way, that goes that way. These don't use an enormous amount. They use 3, and then they produce, what are we doing? We're doing that level. So this is one of those kinds of things where you can stop using your CO2 on, or letting the CO2 exhaust based on some of the other things. I think we'll do that here. We'll go ahead and grab you. I'm going to grab another chemical plant.
5, 3, 2, 1.
And yes, I still have the thingy dinging at me just because I kind of don't mind it. You're going to go over about like this. Sure. And then we'll take the CO2 off of that machine there with a, I don't even know how much this is going to be. Probably not a whole lot, but can I get you to connect into there and then go here? Thank you. And your recipe is going to be that. And then we need to sneak in there. Pause that. Just pause it so it'll stop spitting things out. You can get built. You can get built. And then once that's built, that'll eat up a little bit of stuff. Yes, we know you only have one thing to do, but it's not going to eat a whole lot. It won't be that terrible. All right, I need you, little belt right there, to go away. Sure, sure, sure. And go ahead and just unity that out of the way. Get us a flat balancer, stick it right there. Grab a conveyor, and then grab this conveyor. I know I kind of stuck it quite a ways over, but that's fine. That way we have all of the stuff we need. Go there. No. There. 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 Fine. I'll go right there since you're being a pain. And then do that. And you have a priority in right there. Okay, and so that will eat up all of the carbon dioxide pollution that'll come off of stuff like this. That's one of those things, once you get to the point where you're really going to need to start worrying about these, like if you do decide you want to go to a full arc furnace system instead of a full blast furnace system, you need all of the CO2 that you possibly can being converted into graphite rods, and even then you might still have to make graphite rods to keep things happy. I think with that I should maybe be okay, at least for the moment. These two have been running pretty solidly, but we did eat up quite a bit of our graphite rods, so I may have to kind of figure out another thing for them, or I may need to go ahead and accumulate all of the other CO2 outputs that we have. Like, I think that's one. I forget what this one does. No, that one is doing... So like this is another one over here. I think I could probably convert that into doing the same thing and running it over here somewhere. We're going to have to get to a point, and I know this is going to be, I'm kind of rattling here really quick early on. We're going to have to get to a point where we're going to build an exhaust facility somewhere, probably, just because we're going to need to start collecting all of the CO2 that we are producing to be able to make that kind of good stuffs. And, you know, just trying to keep these things working is going to eat through a fair amount of it. But again, if these are all running, I think, if I recall correctly, everything right here is making just enough to maybe keep one of these things happy for a little bit. So again, it's one of those little things that will creep up on you if you're not paying attention. So with all that said, we need to look at the next layer and the next thing. And the next thing is going to be working back just a couple of steps. Here we need to get into electronics 4, because electronics 4 is going to be how we produce the, if we go over here and click on this button, I didn't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Cancel. We don't have the stuff to do that. If we click on that button, 2 electronics 4 produce 48 space science, which is going to be a royal pain in the tail, I think, mainly because, well, these rockets hold what? I think these rockets hold, these ones currently hold 40, so that'd be 80 space science per minute. And that is, that's painful because I'm pretty certain, like, say, the first thing I want to do is 23,000 science in here. Lovely. So, yeah, I don't know. We may end up doing the rocket 2 first just so that we can carry a little bit more stuff. But we're going to look at starting the electronics 4 process today, and then probably, well, depending on how far we get into it, we will start looking at the titanium smelting so that we can get our orbital research station built. Excuse me, the research station Mark III, the space station 3, up and going so that we can, well, maybe do a little bit more fun things. But I really, really need to start looking at getting this fast breeder reactor running so that we can get some stuff going for sure. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so thinking about the electronics 4, we're going to have to kind of look at the entire process and then decide where we want to build it. So electronics 4 is, well, let me see. Just as a single machine, we'll get 6 of those. So we need to be able to make at least 6 of those per minute, starting with the basis of how many of these red circuits are we currently producing. I forget. Well, probably past that. And I remember correctly, I made quite a few of these because we were concerned about not being able to make enough science. I should be able to do what I think I need to do. We may have to do a little bit of adjustment there, but everything seems to be okay. How big, busy, ugly, nasty is this process going to be? Let's get over to our little green surface area over here where I tend to build things and design an idea. So I would like to say probably at least 2 of these for an output, maybe, at least for the beginning. So we're going to start with that. Now, give me the thing. You, there, go. Okay. So we're going to start with 2 of those, and we're going to kind of play around with that idea. That'll be 12 of those per minute. 12 of those per minute. It'd be 24 science per minute. It's not amazing. I don't know how that's going to all work. We'll have to see how this goes. Maybe this is not too terribly hard. The point is, again, I think we still have to be able to produce all of the regular science as well. I mean, maybe we should just click on a button. Let's, before we get excited, click on a button. Have that set, start it. And then if I go over here and I click on, where am I at? I need to go all the way back over here. If I go over here and I turn one of these back on, what does it tell me? Really? So, not only do we need the lab equipment Mark IV, we also need that. Gotcha. So, wow, that's gonna hurt, isn't it? Well, I suppose. Let's see how much of a pain this is going to be. I don't want to do you. You can stop. I suppose while we're sitting here and we have things we can do, why don't you do... I was working on this one, right? Why don't you finish crop research for right now while we're here? Go ahead and kick this on, do the same thing. That way they can kind of work through crop research for a little while, crop yield, whatever it's called. I need to get this kicked back up. 1 second. All right, well, let's do a little bit of research, just a little teeny tiny while we're figuring this out. So every single one of those labs is going to require 2 of these to make them happy. Because 2... This is technically 12, so 2 of these will make the 24, or the 12 that we need to be able to make the 24. Jeez. So I need 4 of these. Are you kidding me right now? Just to run one lab. No, that'd be 2 labs. No, I'm right there. Yeah, 48 science. 48 science. We need, wow. Oh boy. Okay, well, that's going to be one of these. So that's also going to be a rocket every time. I'm going to, before I lose my mind, sit down and do a little bit of figuring here and looking at this. That's going to probably hurt a lot more than I think it will. All right, well, I'm just running around doing a couple of the little things that I think we've been needing to do because of how this is all going to be. I'm looking for all of the little bitty places that we're currently making carbon dioxide, because apparently we're going to need a large amount, or at least a considerable amount, of the graphite being shoved into the system. So I'm just making sure that everything that's easy to get to has been taken care of. So aside from this one, which side are you? And I see if I move you out of the way. So the carbon dioxide is on that one, and I don't think there's any more carbon dioxide over here that I don't already have scrubbed except for what's there. That's a long way to drag a pipe. I think that we're gonna, like I said, I do need to sit down and probably build a system that will allow me to do a few things. I can pause you guys. We don't need you running anymore because we just needed a little bit of backup power for a second there. It's something else I'm kind of trying to work on here to get rid of. But yeah, we're at a point right now where it's kind of hard to do all of the work that it needs to be done because we don't have all the parts that we need in order to do the work. But I think we can get this sorted. I've already kind of started figuring out where I think I want some of this stuff. So I'm going to try to do 48 total. Well, not 48 total, 24 total of these because they'll duplicate up in space. I gotta quit clicking on that map. So if we look under here, 2 of those is 48 research. 2 of those, so if we can make 12, or excuse me, 24, then we should be able to run 1 lab flat out, which is not going to be great, but with the current with the current rewards that we have, we're sitting around 120, and I can probably get a couple of more of those up if we turn, like, say, 1 or 2 of these labs off and just run a single one. I think I might have enough stuff over here to be able to run, well, this should be all the way out, plus we have the bonus that we're getting from the current space station, and if need be, I can hire a bunch of people and have them start working in an office building, which is something, again, I keep saying we need to do and we haven't done. There are multiple ways around trying to make a lot of science, and I think at this point in time, it might be time for us to explore that. So we'll go ahead and get a couple of these things done. So I think we're going to put those right there. Yeah, they'll have to truck them over here. It's fine. I went ahead and placed down, where are they? Over here, just kind of stole a little bit of the alumina off the side over here for a couple of crystallizers to make the 16 sapphire wafers that we're going to need. And then we can do the rest of the math up here, or at least kind of looking at how this is going to work. So these are going to require 4 lenses per each to run. So that means, well, we're going to need, what is that, 32 lenses? Something, well, excuse me, 16 lenses total. That means we need 8 of these machines in order to make that work, which means we need 8 of the sapphire wafers, 8 of diamond paste, and 8 of ethanol. And I think we're making plenty of ethanol at this point. I could probably, I don't know, if we need to, we can make more at this point, I think. So the diamond paste is going to be produced via this chemical reactor that is going, or chemical plant that is going to need 4 diamonds, which is going to require 2 diamonds per each here, which is a little bit of sand, and again, a little bit of the graphite. These guys are already laid down. The thing is, again, these are also going to require 2 diamonds apiece, so that means we need 8 more diamonds total. So, yeah. I need this doubled. We have the salt. We have the salt. It's the graphite I'm concerned about. I think we have enough graphite as long as we're not trying to do a lot of silliness, but I may end up having to set up a graphite production chemical plant in here. I don't want to do that. Give me a regular chemical plant here. May have to go back to doing the old method for now, because we can do the chlorine with a little bit of coal, a little bit of this into that, but it uses a lot more power, and it also produces sour water, which is fine. We can do that if we need to, but I've gone around and set up everything I need to do as far as everything else. I think we can probably make something work out of this. Again, these are gone for now, and this is again, we're going to kind of just make it work and do what we need to do. The reason why I'm saying this is I've got nothing but time at this point in time. So all we have to do to finish, at least what I can see as far as space science, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. At least those are the only things I see that require continuous space science. It's a lot of science, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's 40, 56, 70,000, 80, 90,000 science that is going to be required of this. But if we're making it at about 200 or 150 per minute, all I then have to do is sit around and make sure everything should be working, and not have to do too much else. So it'd be just one of those things that just let it kind of run in the background and not really worried about doing other things, which means we could theoretically, while that's working through all of this, start dismantling and rebuilding upgrading all of the smelting, upgrading all the things, and then maybe upgrading main base while it's working. So I do plan on gutting a good portion of this area and starting to bring trains in to take care of some of the other little problems. So I think that might be something we maybe need to look at. But anyhow, I think given with the amount of time that we've got, we should be able to do this. These are nothing major. They're just diamond routers and diamond reactors. They're going to take a lot of power. Let's see where we can stuff those in, because diamonds are something we're going to maybe use as a trash can later on. Possibly, question mark. I think maybe that might be something we'll try to do as it goes on. Right now, I'm not too concerned about it, but again, it's a good way for us to just get rid of some of the pollution that we're creating at this point, at least what's left of the pollution. Okay, so let's find a nice place for the reactors, and then we can move forward from there. I think since they're going to need salt, I might put them right in here. Like, we could stick them kind of right here, possibly. And then that way they could produce some of the same stuff that we need. Sure. Let's put them right here. And then I'll wire those in, and we'll go from there. Alright, so that should be diamonds. Let's go ahead and have them build that. I don't, again, know how much we're going to be getting or using or whatever out of that thing, but we'll find out. Hopefully that'll be enough to at least give us something to play with for a little while. Next step is the things, these things right here. I think we can probably sneak those in down here, or, I mean, wherever. I guess it doesn't really matter. We could probably place it over here, because we will have diamonds over here, and we can do the things. What do we got? Let's see here. You guys are going to be lens polishers. I could probably build the diamond paste over there as well, so we don't have to move it. All we got to do is have a few diamonds and a little bit of stuff. I think we'll probably try to build all of this over here as well for right now too, just because. I don't see a need for us to need to come in this area, so I can figure out something kind of like so. We'll let them get that all built. And then I think I'm going to drop that in there kind of like that. Maybe. Okay, so this is going to require diamonds, and it's going to require some chemical. Okay. If I grab this and go, and again, this is just down and dirty and getting it to work kind of thing. Not one of my favorite things in the world to do, but it is what we need to do this time. So we're going to do this. I'm going to leave enough room for the trucks to get to here, because they are going to need to get to the diamonds. You're going to go to there. You're going to get a tank just stuck on the side over here. And we'll do a short tank. And I'm going to use that recipe for now, but we may end up might end up doing something a little different. It just depends. Fluid. Short pipe. Don't need a lot of pipe. Thank you. You are going to be heavy oil. Keep full. Can I get to that heavy oil tank? We can. You're allowed to remove. Okay, so then that should make the diamond paste. It needs to go into those. We got to grab this. The only thing I'm short here is the ethanol, and that was my concern. Flip that whole thing, point the ethanol that direction, and then we'll stick it in kind of like so, with enough room to do things. Means I don't have to jump that over the back of that, but that's okay. It won't look terrible. And then we'll get us a storage right there. Sure. And all the brand new things that the game is giving us. Alright, and then the bad thing is I probably should put the ethanol right. I should move this over. Hang on. Let's grab you, and we'll put you right there. We'll put the ethanol tank to the side of it. Fluid storage tall, one of those. Go, and then you should just be able to do something. How much ethanol is this going to take? Not a whole heck of a lot. Good deal. So we'll just grab a regular fluid pipe, come out, go up, over, drag it all the way down. Please do not connect anything, just follow. Oh, right, I gotta do that. Oh. That ain't gonna work. That not gonna, well, I guess I could grab, hang on a second. You, I need to move. Control X, rotate. And then I need to move that to there. Everything on this is flat belts, right? Yes. Okay, can I have one of those and put it right there, please? Thank you. And can I have one of those and put it right there? Thank you. Please, very good. Okay, so that just means that's going to have to be a pipe connector there when we come through. All right, cool. Don't connect. Don't really care right now. We may end up tearing this all apart once we see how the performance is. Learning as we go is always the fun thing. Okay, that's to there, and that is to there. That will produce the lenses. And this is going to need to be keep full of ethanol all the time. I don't know if I have a route on that or not. Where is it? Let's see. You do not have an availability. Go ahead and open. And then we'll turn that on, and that should start making parts. So how are we doing over here? Are those just really, really, really slow? Yes, they are. They're really, 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 really slow. Another truck trying to find a destination it can reach. What is the problem, people? I think we can turn this on, except I missed a belt right there. So that means I have to fix this pipe that I accidentally put in place. You to there, and then you to there. Okay, so that should be everything for that part there. I just need to make sure that's connected, and that's connected. And then we turn that on and see how that all works. Getting kind of expensive. These things are, well, It's all this late game stuff. It's kind of expensive on the really expensive part, so it's definitely hurting our production a little bit. But it is what it is. It's fine. Let them build it. We still have lots of this stuff sitting around. All right, well, there goes a few of those lenses down the line. I suppose we let everything run a little while and see what we can do, but that should be everything we need to make the rest of the things. And now I figured out what the heck was wrong with those guys. They're all mad at me because they did that. But yeah, we may have to let some stuff sit for a second here now that we've well, I've managed to make that one happy, which I have unhappy, which I have no idea how in the heck that happened. Although there's, again, an awful lot of steel that is going into various things around this base right now. And one of my next major projects probably really needs to be to just, we need to start just taking these and making massive amounts of lots of different types of things out of them. All right, so I think the last thing we need, at least for the moment, is going to be these. And I'm going to do them right here because we should have enough room. Plus, I already have a line of these circuits sitting right here. So all I need to do is make sure they're lined up correctly. Something like so. And then we need to grab one of those, add it to every one of these. Yeah, I think that'll be just fine. I think we'll just tie in the thing and just do whatever we need to do. As far as I know, the only thing that's for is for research. That's it, space science. So once we get this done, we should be good. So I just need to bring in 2 boxes, one for the diamonds and one for the lenses, which I suppose we can just do as ugly as possible. Why not? Looks good enough for me. Give us a flat conveyor belt. Come on over to here. I'm going to need to move that backwards. Go ahead and run it anyway. It's okay. Just do not connect to anything important. You can go to that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. And I'm going to grab both of you and move you backwards because you're just out of where I wanted you. Okay, there we go. And then I'll just grab a single flat lift there. And another one flipped there. Okay, and then just pull a cable, pull a belt, pull a whatever. Because I'm kind of wondering whether this is going to be a temporary situation or it's going to be a continuous situation. And if it's just going to be temporary, then there's really no need for me to be very fancy about it. Go ahead and build that for me, people. You're going to be diamonds. And keep full. You're going to be lenses. And keep full. And we need to make sure we have access to both of these. You can be accessible, and you can be accessible. And away we go. It's going to be a pretty slow process, looks like, for a little while, but at least once it catches up, it should be fine. Hopefully that didn't eat all of our fuel. Oh, no, I didn't figure we'd eat all of it. We have plenty of layers of fuel over here to keep this system working, so we'll just see what happens now. Why are my people mad about chicken farms? What's wrong with chicken farms? We should have all the food in the world for chicken farms. All right. Making the most expensive chip thus far, and it's only going to be used for one thing. Science. There we go. All right. Well, I think given the issue we've got right now, I may have to seriously start thinking about making a lot more graphite, but I'm going to go ahead and let the system run in between episodes and fill boxes and containers and things back up so that we can keep things moving forward, because I don't think we're going to be too far off from actually be able to do the next step. Now, looking at this, I got to quit clicking the wrong map. Looking at this, It does show an upgrade station here as being, we need 120 of the next level of maintenance. And I'm questioning, once again, whether or not this is going to require any of the research, or if I can just do the research right now. Now, I don't see, like, everything we've done so far, everything we've done as far as upgrading this station has given us another window into something else that we need to add. So before, when it was just a space station one, we only had this little line to try to keep it floating. And now we have to try to keep crew and crew supplies in it. So looking at this, I have a feeling we have to upgrade it to a space station 3 so that we can do the research with those chips. But I wanted to make sure we were building the chips before we dug into the next large, painful process. So again, please by all means keep any all input as far as the space and whatnot to yourselves. I haven't done this before. I want to know how it all works, and I'm kind of enjoying it. So until then, I guess I will see you all later. We have the electronics 4 going. I'll fill the boxes, and then we can start on titanium next time. Ugh. Well, at least we have an island over there we can get to it. Lovely. See you, folks.